Tropical Storm Sanba forms in the Gulf of Tonkin. Another new Western Pacific name was initially tagged 16W, now our next tropical cyclone in the Western Pacific. It's at 18.9 north, 108.1 degrees east, and is hugging the western coast of Hainan Island in China. As of 9 p.m. China Standard Time this evening on October 18th, it had winds of 40 miles per hour, 65 kilometers per hour, with a pressure of 999 millibars, moving northwest at 13 miles per hour or 21 kilometers. A tropical storm on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, and that's how it's expected to continue over the next couple of days before it dissipates later on. Well, here's its current position displayed on the map with its very small wind field. That's from the JTWC estimates there. A tropical storm, as mentioned, just about into that threshold, and that was supported by an ASCAP pass not too long ago. A yellow typhoon warning is in effect for Sanya on the southern coast, Dongfang and Dansu City. Dongfang is only 60 kilometers from the center of the storm, 169 from Dansu City, 254 from Haikou, 260 from Haiphong in Vietnam, and 303 from Beihai in the western part of China, the southwestern region there along the coast. Now, this storm will go on to affect all of those locations, predominantly with heavy rainfall more than anything else, and that is our key primary hazard right now. We are expecting over 16 inches, 400 millimeters of rainfall in some coastal areas of western Hainan, Guangxi and northern Vietnam. Heavy rainfall and high rain rates are likely to cause flash flooding, particularly in those coastal regions. Usually we tend to see more flooding inland, but because this storm doesn't look like it's going to make a direct landfall and actually stay out over the Gulf, it will mainly be over coastal areas. And here is that forecast then over the next few days. An expanding wind field at first, and then it starts to lose itself and weakens. It turns back towards the southwest by the end of the week and dissipate over the weekend just off the coast of Vietnam, heading back down towards the south there as it dissipates. So a landfall can't be ruled out, but it doesn't look like at this stage it's going to manage to do so. Either way, it will be a tropical storm and could deliver tropical storm force winds to all of those coastal areas mentioned. So a decent agreement on 40 miles per hour right now. Satellite estimates are way high, by the way. They're up and above 60 miles per hour, but we're confident in that ASCAP pass earlier, not very long ago at all, that caught a 35 knot wind in this storm, which gives good justification for keeping it at 40 miles per hour. Well, there's the JTWC forecast cone. They think it might just hang on as a depression as it moves down towards the south very quickly, by the way, as we get on towards the weekend. But initially it's going to stall and move quite slowly northwards and then curl westwards and then southwards and peak, they think, at winds of 50 miles per hour there on their forecast. Here's the GFS model, possibly going a little bit higher than that actually, and then it really does weaken very quickly after that as it dips back towards the south, and what's left of it will move into central Vietnam by the looks of things, certainly in terms of its storm structure. Watch again as it moves along the western coast of Hainan, possibly northeasterly a little bit, and then stalling and then really moving quite quickly back towards the southwest. Let's take a look at the simulated reflectivity next. When it's ready, there it is. You can take a look at the rainfall rates there that the GFS is predicting, and you can see all of that red zone. That's really what we're concerned about. Pretty much along Guangxi coastline there is really going to be the main cause for concern for rainfall. Around Beihai even in those red zones for quite an extended period of time. Watch again there and you can see that trailing along the coast and also in the neighbouring areas too, western Hainan as well, and eastern, the coastal region of Vietnam, which will get some pretty heavy stuff later on actually in that forecast period too. So rainfall accumulations, this is obviously the totaling up, and you can see here that some of those pink areas start to appear, getting very close to the coast of China there, and overall we are looking at possibly 16 inches along the coastline, maybe higher if the storm does deviate a little bit and move over land as it's peaking. That could end up reaching exceeding 20 inches and 30 inches there out at sea where it stalls for a bit. So certainly that possibility that it could get up towards 700 millimeters, but certainly the forecast right now is that we're expecting at least 400 millimeters for parts of that coastline, and further south as well later on, getting up towards 14 inches in central Vietnam. Hainan, by the way, only getting towards 5 or 6 inches by the looks of things there. That's nearly 150 millimeters. Sea surface temperatures are looking okay as it moves further towards the north. It is starting to cool quite a bit in the northern part of the Gulf of Tonkin now, as is normal at this time of year, but around 27 degrees Celsius, maybe 28 in a few spots around the storm. Certainly decent enough for it to continue. It's not going to be the sea surface temperatures that will kill it off. It will probably be increasing wind shear and maybe a little bit of land interaction as well. Look once again at the satellite imagery as we saw this storm at the beginning of our video here, and you can see it's blowing up decent amounts of cloud tops. It's got a good circulation going, and certainly a big boost there in the last few hours with a new convective burst, and that will probably continue and shore up its intensity and push it upwards possibly a notch towards that 50 mile per hour forecast. You can take a look at all of this satellite imagery live on the Force 13 website, force13.com/satellite. This imagery really goes to show that big burst there that's just occurred, and one or two bursts that are occurring along the eastern part of Hainan as well, so there could be some elevated rain rates going on in there too, but it will mainly be towards the western coast. Certainly this whole region will be in for a bit of a drenching as we look at this radar imagery as well. Good tight core there, it's hard to see at times with that interfering imagery, but this system is a potent tropical storm and could intensify some in the next couple of days.